E2M1, the Emporium's hunger. An oft-repeated phrase you may recognize. The lore of the Emporium hungers, has two meanings. In its universe, it hungers for your actual soul. It's truly a rather evil entity which haunts that land. In ours, however, the Emporium hungers for your literary soul. Lucy had been working on the site for years before it skyrocketed into fame from SRC. This was something she was focused on and off. The concept of the Emporium came to her in a dream. Here's what was produced from it. Review 1. This place is fantastic. It had everything we wanted and more. Jackson. The place was called Dr. Fillmore Feelgoode's Party Emporium. My friends and I went there to grab some party supplies for the party we were planning. The reviews we saw said it was a good place to go get the things we wanted. I can't seem to find any of those reviews now, though. On the way there, John and Cheryl were going over the details of the party we were planning. I just sat back and did nothing. The place was an old building that a strip mall was built around. The sign designating what the store was called was big and glowing, even though it looked like it hasn't changed since it was placed on the building in the 70s. The windows in the front of the building were blacked out, and the doors looked like they were taken out of a church. We took all of this in as we parked and made our way to the doors of the store, if you could even call it that. When we entered the place, it looked like a normal old store. Have you ever been to a party city? It looked like that. We were greeted by a group of about 15 people who we thought were the staff. Their clothes looked like the usual uniform. They acted like retail employees, but the kind that had a relaxed attitude. They brought us into a door a few feet away and gave us some reefer. It was then that we realized that we walked half a mile to get to where we were, which was a building inside a building with stairs leading to a second story and a window looking out into the rest of the place. Looking through the window, we saw that the whole building was dark, as if it were perpetual night, but in the distance we could see what looked to be a stage with black lights pointed at a crowd of people who were wearing what looked to be clothing that glowed neon. Now that you have some doobie in you, you can finally think straight, said one of the people who we thought were employees. For some reason things in here fuck with your brain differently than things outside. My name is Robert. Welcome to the Party Emporium. What is this place? I asked. I was weirded out. I could tell just by looking at Cheryl and John that they were too. He was wearing a 70s style leather coat with fringes and everything. His hair was down to his shoulders. His hair swayed as he pulled out a flask and took a drink. Well, I'm not really sure, but the sign outside says this place is a party supply store, but the things I've seen in here tell me it's not a normal thing at all. He gestures for us to take a seat. What's with the getup? I heard John ask him. It looks like he came straight from a costume party. What year is it outside? I know it's been a long time since 1975 because my friends there. He says, gesturing to a group of people who looked like they were all from different decades. Wait, what? When we came, it was 2015, John responded. A segment of the group started murmuring. One of them said, "We've only been here 10 days, but it's been 10 years since we came in?" Yeah, it's better than a decade a day, but time still moves differently in here, Robert stated, looking right at me. The muffled sound of music from the stage started blaring to the point where it seemed like it was emanating from the walls of the place. And Robert looked out the window, and he sighed. 90s, you three are on keg duty. This statement was followed by 3 people climbing the stairs and bringing down some water guns. As one of them handed a water gun to Robert, he pointed at us. Newbies, you go use the stereo. He looked like a guy in an 80s-looking jacket. Jeff, you and the K's have the job of foraging for food. Me and the 80s will be finding more dope after we explain to the newbies what's going on. He walked us outside the building, and we walked towards the door, towards a wall of speakers, to one of those old hi-fi towers. He put a tape into its deck. I noticed that the decks had an aux cord hanging out of it. He turned to us and said, "One of the K's brought this tape with them because they didn't want it to get stolen. I hope that, because of the way technology seems to work out there, you guys have a way to play even more music." Compared to what they had in the 2000s? Yeah. I responded by pulling out my cell phone from my pocket. Why do you need it? Well, it's been about 13 days since my friends and I came in, and it's been 10 since we found the case entering the place. I think music has the capability to fuck with this place, like it slows it down. Robert hands the cable to me and I plug my phone in. Yeah, I'm only still here because the party out there took my friends, and the love of my life. I was staying here to warn people and to fight this place, but as soon as I get out of here, I'm going to demolish the building.
I think this place can handle itself until then, though. I'm going to be coming back with you.
I set my music to loop and it started playing the audio through the speakers. Keep it, I said, as I plugged my phone charger into the power supply strip on the hi-fi towers. We can leave any time we like, right? What about the others? Cheryl, my girlfriend, asked.
I didn't find them at the door we came through. By the time we got to their doors again, the doors were gone. Probably because the version of me from their world was smart enough to leave after his friends died. From what I've learned from them, the places they came from were not like ours. How so? John asked as Robert gestured us to follow him. For one thing, the caves in the 90s came from a place where Booth didn't kill Lincoln. And the 80s came from a place where Stalin was the president of the United States in 1950.
Robert responded as he guided us towards the door.
Jack, you're in charge now.
He gave the guy who came in with us a note.
I'm going to tell you guys all about what I've been through when we get out of here.
We reached the door and left that weird world. We were suddenly carrying a bunch of party supplies. I looked back around and couldn't see Robert. I noticed that it was sunset. We walked back to the car, and John drove Terry and I home. Review 2.
I've been coming here for 30 years for my party planning needs.
Robert.
My friends and girlfriend have been missing since 1975. I saw Jackson's review, and it inspired me to post about some things I remember. If there's one thing I learned there, it was, don't join the party. If you join the party, you're not going to be coming back. We were attacked by the party, and I avoided joining it at all costs. But my girlfriend and friend were less lucky. I eventually figured out how to fight back against it. The partygoers, as I call them, they couldn't handle alcoholic beverages. You just had to spray it anywhere on their skin. They don't have faces, that's something that differentiated them from real people. The fact that they exploded into flames because of alcohol and other real food hitting their skin also helped. Music allowed us to slow time in the place, and weed was the only way to break the illusion of the place being anything close to the store. I blocked out most of the stuff I've experienced there, and I hope this review helps anyone.
Review 3. A good place to go when you're planning a costume party. Joan. My name isn't Joan, or whatever it says up there. My name is Lucy Feelgoode. I am a facsimile. I used to be a party goer, but I decided to change form. My chosen form was the real Lucy Feelgoode. Her father, my species captor and enslaver, probably didn't know his daughter went into his anomalous death trap at the store. Or maybe he did. I have her memories, and from what I can see, he wasn't a kind man. She was a compassionate girl, though. Still a compassionate, quite kind woman. Her age is getting the better of her, though. I can see the face she no longer has due to age. She gave me her permission to do that, at least. The variation of the interior she came into was the war zone line, one where we kept the rebellious partygoers in place. I spent 20 years of my life thinking that Black Void was my reality, until I met Lucy. I was brought to see her by some facsimile friends I had at the time. She was kind. She didn't fear my faceless form with the other humans. She must have been around 95 years old at that point. She let me have her memories. She told me stories about the times she almost died in here. She let me go outside for the first time in my life, and I never once looked back. I read on here that the members of my species in the party boxes now spontaneously combust when they eat normal food. I guess he perfected his artificial versions enough to use them in the party boxes without having them consume the poor unfortunate souls that dare to party with them. I'm guessing the rest of my species is in various other interiors. That's all I have to say for now. Stay vigilant, dear reader. Gosh, I read too many comic books.